morning. Hi guys. I am making butternut squash soup today in the cooking blender, and I thought I would pop on and share a couple tips with you about using the cooking blender and about this particular recipe. So it calls for 3 cups of cubed butternut squash. So if you get a butternut squash from the store, it typically takes a large one or 2 medium ones, and you have some cubed squash left over. This time I actually bought pre-cubed squash because I'm doing a cooking show tomorrow night, and it will save time if I have the squash all cut up and prepared. But even with the pre-cubed squash, I still had some left over. So what I'm doing is I'm roasting what's left over on one of our sheet pans. This is actually from the modular sheet pan set. This is the large one from that set. And I just tossed it with some olive oil, and I'm gonna pop it in the oven at 350 and let it roast. And the reason I'm gonna do that is so that once the soup is all done, you can pop the roasted butternut squash in the soup for a little bit of texture. And if you add the pepitos or the pumpkin granola, then you have texture too, but the roasted squash adds a nice bit of texture. So one of the biggest things with the cooking blender, whether you're using it to cook or smoothies or whatever you're doing, is you always want to put your ingredients in the blender in the order of the recipe. That's especially true with the Pampered Chef recipe. So the first thing to go in for the soup is our 2/3 cup of water. And then I'm gonna add in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I already have it pre-measured out. That's gonna go in, and a teaspoon of salt. Next, we're doing 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, I am using our Pampered Chef cinnamon, not the Cinnamon Plus, but the Coronite cinnamon. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And this cinnamon is just so good and so much. You definitely taste a difference between this and store cinnamon. It smells incredible. You actually probably could use the Cinnamon Plus in this recipe because it does have like the allspice and the ground ginger and all of that, and it would probably just add a really great flavor to your soup. But I like to follow my recipe exactly, so I'm not going to experiment with that today. And then 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. I'm going to add that in. And 3 cups of our butternut squash peeled and cut into chunks. I already have it peeled, cut into chunks, so that's going in next. And 2 medium carrots cut and peeled. Put that in. And then 2 garlic cloves peeled, just throwing in the cloves whole. The next thing I'm gonna add is 1/4 cup of dried diced apples. So I already have my dried apples cut up. It's a little bigger than, let's see, let me dice it a little smaller because these are a little bit bigger than diced. Oh, I forgot to add in my onion. You also add in a half of a medium onion peeled and chunked, and that was supposed to go in right after the carrots. So that's perfect. And then the 1/4 cup of dried diced apples. This is almost exactly 1/4. I'm gonna put the extra in there. Okay, and that's it for now. We will add on when the timer goes off and it beeps at me. I'm gonna add in some heavy cream when it tells me to, but I'm gonna move this over so you can hopefully see the settings on the blender a little bit better. But now all I need to do is lock the lid, select the soup setting, which hopefully you can see. Let me see if I can bring you closer. It's lighting up the soup setting, and then I just press the wheel to start it, and that's it. And now it's going to make the soup for me. Everything went in raw, you saw that, and it's just going to, let me go back this way. It's just going to cook it and blend it and make it nice and smooth. And then I'll add in the heavy cream after the heavy cream is done. Then we'll serve it with the roasted squash add that in to give it some texture, and the pepitas for some texture and taste, and some dried apples on top, and then that will be it. I am actually going to also later on be making homemade peanut butter and the peanut butter chocolate lava cake, so I'll be hopping back on later today to show you guys that. If you have any questions about the cooking blender, let me know. I'll post pictures when it's done, and I'll probably post right before it's about ready to be finished, so you can see the consistency and how it works. It'll take about 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, we'll have nice, wonderful soup for a fall day. All right, guys, take care.